Hey Professor, in this video I'm just going to be talking about the game I created, which was a poker game. And it's a two-player game where it just runs like a regular poker game, except there's a few limitations as you can only bet 50 and like anything that's a double or triple of that. And there's no big blind or small blind, so you won't be forced to pay debt each new game is ran. So I'm going to go through my classes real quick. Apply rotation, I'm just rotating the player's card hand. I think I should just put this in the player hand. Call is one of the actions one of the players can do. Card just getting the card hand, just throwing the cards in the vector and scoring it. Same thing here. Cards FML, just it's a drawable card. Check is also one of the actions the players can do. Component is the abstract class that I'm adding to my object so I can run it. Deck is just a deck class default. I think I'm just drawing all the default stuff on the board. Flop is the 3 cards that comes out after the first round. Fold is one of the actions. Font, just getting the font. Game is where I'm basically essentially having all this stuff, and that's how I'm interacting with each other, which I'll get into later on to why I think this is not a good way to do this. Images, I'm just getting the image. Money, it's just I think I'm printing the money, updating the money like for each player bet. Mouse is mouse. Outcome, I'm just printing out the outcome of like which player wins, and it prints out a continue button that lets you play to the next round. Player hand, just the player's card hand. Player icon, just a drawable player icon. Poker is where I actually run my game, and I put everything and all the objects together, and I also explain why I think there's a better way to do this. Poker board, I'm just drawing the background. Poker chip, drawing. I'm just testing here. Raise, that's one of the actions. Raising. River is it's the last card that gets played out. Poker. Run game, I don't think I use this. I just use poker instead of run game, so I should have deleted that. Scores, when you shade colors, it's basically my mouse goes over like one of the buttons, then the color changes to like a darker shade. Start menu, just draw the start menu. Transform button, I think it's a static class that like where I just call it and then it just creates my button, so I don't have to rewrite code because I think I have like 4 actions. And turn is the card after the flop, so it's a drawable card. So yeah, I just want to get. Well, I'm just gonna show my program. Here, if the start menu is run it. Here we have one of the actions. This is set 1. If you raise, it calls to the second set, which has a call, which matches the bet. So now the pot's 100. The flop comes out. You can see your card. Just flip it. He has a king, so I'm assuming player 2 is gonna win with a high pair. I'm just gonna check it all the way. And yeah, player 2 wins. Press continue and moves on to the next round. So I just want to talk about my challenges now. I guess one thing. Well, I'm talking about what I learned first. So one like big thing I learned when I was making this project is like what it means to program like in like object-oriented programming. And one thing when I was making is I had the idea of coming in with the functions like mindset, like functional programming from CS2. And I think I also explained that in my portfolio. But yeah, I think it was really here in this game where I was like, I really understood like why it was a point because I wouldn't have to create this like all these static variables. I can just put them all into a class, and I think I'm actually missing a class, which is the actual player class. And I think if I made a player class and stored all the stuff that I needed to do in that player class and then make the poker game, like run the game, then I think it would have been way better and way cleaner. Yeah, instead I just made this like giant mess with like all the statics, and it's like I made one function static and then all the other stuff had to become static too because the variables inside there had to become static, and it was just like static on static, and I was like, this is definitely not the right way to do this, and I was too deep in to really change. But if I did have to go back, I would create a player class. And yeah, so another like one of the frustrating things that was like really frustrating was trying to draw and undraw stuff. So when I showed you the game, pull it up, you can draw the cards out, but I was trying to figure out how do I undraw this so I can go to the next round. See, and it just undraws. What I did was I just created a vector and I had it clear that vector, and then something happens, then re-add the components back in and then redraw, and then if it's the next round, then undraw. And that took like most of my time just trying to figure that out, just trying to undraw and redraw stuff. And I'm sure there's a better way to do that as well. Yeah, so I think overall, I think my game still aligned with how I proposed in the project proposal video. But I just wish I spent more time like planning how I was going to go about this game and how it's going to flow, and maybe talk to a tutor beforehand about how the objects I wanted to create was actually going to interact with each other. And yeah, and I actually did, and they were like, yeah, I don't know why they told me like, I don't know why you created like you didn't need to create all this stuff, you didn't need to do all this big mess, you could have just created a player class. And yeah, that really opened my eyes to like what it means to program like object oriented compared to functional programming. So I think that's the biggest takeaway I got from these last 2 projects, and that's pretty much it. Thank you.